Hi, I'm Kate with The Productive Teacher, and today we're going to play Word Maker with the ed word family. Here's how it works. All one-syllable words have an onset and a rime. The onset is the letter or letters that come before the vowel in the word. The rime is the vowel and any letters that come after it. In the ed word family, all of the words have the ed rime, but there are different onsets. We're going to test all of these onsets and see which ones make a real word. As we go through the video, you can listen to me read the words, you can read along with me, or you can mute the video and read the words yourself. Let's get started. Bed. Bed is a word. Said. Said, spelled this way, is not a word. Remember, the letter C makes the S sound when it comes before the letter E. Dead. Spelled this way, dead is not a word. Fed. Fed is a word. Jed. Jed is not a word. Remember, the letter G makes the J sound when it comes before an E. Head. Head, spelled this way, is not a word. Jed. Jed could be a name, so we capitalize it and call it a word. Ked. Ked is not a word. Led. Led is a word. Med. Med can be short for anything medical, but we're not going to call it a word. Ned. Ned could be a name, so we capitalize it and call it a word. Ped. Ped is not a word. Red. Red is a word. Said. Spelled this way, said is not a word. Ted. Ted could be a name, so we capitalize it and call it a word. Ved. Ved is not a word. Wed. Wed is a word. Yed. Yed is not a word. Zed. Zed is not a word. Ched. Ched is not a word. Fed. Spelled this way, fed is not a word. Shed. Shed is a word. Thed. Thed is not a word. Qued. Qued is not a word. Whoops. Wed. Wed, spelled this way, is not a word. Bled. Bled is a word. Bread. Bread is a word. This isn't the kind of bread that you eat, though. Cled. Cled is not a word. Cred. Cred is not a word. Dread. Dread, spelled this way, is not a word. Fled. Fled is a word. Fred. Fred can be a name, so we capitalize it and call it a word. Gled. Gled is not a word. Gred. Gred is not a word. Pled. Pled is a word. Pred. Pred is not a word. Sled. Sled is a word. Smed. Smed is not a word. Sped. Sped is a word. Sted. Sted is not a word. Tread. Tread, spelled this way, is not a word. Scred. Scred is not a word. Shred. Shred is a word. Spled. Spled is not a word. Squed. Squed is not a word. Stred. Stred is not a word. Thread. Thread, spelled this way, is not a word. Let's check and see how many words we made. All right, we made quite a few words with the ed word family. Thanks so much for playing. I'll see you next time.